Which hobbies that people do screams rich people. My neighbor is a yachtsman who makes a middle-class living racing rich people's yachts. So, I would say hiring people to indulge your hobbies is about as 1% as one can get. We had a meet and greet with a new executive at my company and she told us one of her hobbies is investing in real estate. The frustrating thing about having money makes money is that if you have the money to do this, it's a great financial decision. For a small-scale example, I dated a woman in college who had a rather wealthy mother. Instead of renting a place to live for her daughter, she just bought an apartment close to campus, and then sold it when my ex graduated. Because the rent she charged my ex's roommate covered both upkeep and the mortgage, she not only broke even, but probably turned a profit, while the rest of us were in the negative for paying rent even though we didn't have as much money. If I had the money to do that, I'd invest in real estate as a hobby too. Bartender here. Two very cute girls from out of town sat at my bar. Equally cute guy walks in. Immediately buys them drinks. His opener was "So how often do you gals boat?" They were from fucking Philly lol. When he said that I couldn't not smirk at it. He also tipped me like $130 for 3 Jameson Cokes. I work for Porsche. Many clients have racetrack memberships where they garage their cars and have track days. $80 to $90K initiation fee, $10,000 annual fee for some memberships. In Germany we have a saying, if you play golf, you're too poor for horses. You buy horses if you are too poor for sailing. If you are sailing, you're probably too poor for jets and motoryachts. Historic motorsports is also a good indicator for wealth, especially F1. Übergolfenhorsensälen Jettenspielen. It's so funny to me that F1 is such a indicator of wealth and gentleman's sport because being into motorsports in the USA means you're blue-collar. I started watching F1 and picked Verstappen partially because he's from Red Bull Honda. I can afford a Red Bull and a Honda. It's so funny to me that F1 is such a indicator of wealth and gentleman's sport because being into motorsports NASCAR in the USA means you're blue-collar. FTFYI grew up with a parent who loved F1 and I learned at a very young age that liking NASCAR and liking F1 are two very, very different things. F1 grew out of pre-WW2 Grand Prix, and a culture of rich kids, young aristocrats with too much money time and too little fear racing those fancy cars they had. NASCAR grew out of Prohibition-era booze smugglers racing the cars they'd tuned to be able to outrun the cops. People hate on NASCAR a lot, but it's a pretty great origin story. I always teach a lesson on it in my history class when we cover the 1920s and Prohibition. I'm in Ontario, Canada, so I also cover all the illegal smuggling that went on across the Great Lakes. The kids love it. Lots of murder and intrigue. History can get a little dry, so you gotta hit him with the old razzle-dazzle. Polo. I heard a polo player once complain that not many young people played the sport. He said, "You only need 5 horses, your parents can buy them." Haven't heard someone that out of touch with reality often. It's 5 horses, Michael. What could it cost? $10. I worked at one of the largest polo clubs in America, and had all sorts of celebs and former presidents go there. Made great money because how some of these people tip is insane. Not usually the celebs, but the moderately rich people always have a 20. Summering. Only rich people will ask another person where they summer. A friend of ours got a wildly expensive cappuccino machine from his wife for Christmas. She didn't think there was room for it in their huge gourmet kitchen, so they had a whole coffee station with cabinets and drawers and a built-in mini fridge and marble countertops installed in the adjoining breakfast area. This was all because they got tired of driving to Starbucks twice a day. Oh, and they sent us home with an Xbox One the other night because they just bought whatever the new one is, X, and had no use for it. Lol, nicest people, just wildly wealthy. Not really a hobby, but I worked for a boutique private doctor company that catered to the very rich. Membership fee, $40K a year per person, not including their insurance, and these are just some of the things that are included. You have a medical team, your primary, a nurse, cardiologist, OBGYN, physical therapist, nutritionist, etc. just for you need an appointment for anything. They will work around your schedule, yearly checkup, 2 hours with your primary doctor and your medical team at the clinic or your house. They craft a yearly wellness plan for you and track it monthly lab work? In-house, at the clinic, or at your house. The nurse will call you within 24 hours with the results and explain them to you in great detail. You have your doctor's mobile and email address and you can reach out to them 24/7 with questions or concerns. Are you traveling domestically or internationally? They will provide you with top-tier doctors wherever you are or have your personal doctor and nurse fly out. Are you having a medical emergency? Your doctor and nurse will meet you at the and have a private room ready for you with a specialist if needed. Don't feel like going to the doctor's office, they will go wherever you are. Insurance or billing questions? You don't worry, they will navigate that for you. Clients? Celebrities, politicians, CEOs, the 1%. That sounds so much more actually desirable than a lot of the things we hear about rich people blowing money on. The fastest way to become a millionaire is to become a billionaire and go racing. Going to space. I went to my auntie's 70th birthday. She's a hobbyist pilot and longtime member of an aviation club. My partner and I were talking to one of the guys there and he asked, "Did you guys ever get into flying?" To which we obviously replied with no. He seemed genuinely surprised and then asked, "Oh, did your parents just not let you?" The obscene cost of flying, owning, renting planes never even entered his mind. The only reason he could see for not flying planes as a child was a lack of interest. Pretty fucking mind-blowing tbh.